American Survivor, take 5!
Well, I woke up Sunday morning with no way to hold my head. That didn't hurt. And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad, so I had one more for dessert. I smoked my mind the night before.
I remember the day when I finally had enough. My friends and I had stayed up all night long partying, drinking and smoking and watching some black and white Johnny Depp movie called Dead Man. I woke wishing I were a dead man, feeling like I really didn't have too far to go. I vaguely remember prying my eyes open and rearranging my legs on the lumpy 70s couch so that I could lean over and reach into one of the 5 loaded ashtrays in the living room that were overflowing with butts and pick out the longest and best looking stubs for resurrection. First thing, I had to smoke immediately. There was no question and no pride. No smokes left, no problem. You see, in these times of disgusting desperation, when there were no new cigarettes to be had, but still a raging and out of control nicotine addiction to be fed, I had a system. I would line up the used but not quite totally smoked butts in a row on the edge of the coffee table, like a sad, squished, jaundiced army of armless, legless, black-haired, cylindrical soldiers, ready to be lit and sucked on just one last time by my desperate and cottony morning mouth. I had no shame. We called them chinks, a totally politically incorrect nickname for the short yellow cigarette stumps living on top of one another in the overpopulated and vast ash wasteland. I had these tiny emergency sewing scissors that I kept in the bottom of my purse, and I would use them to chop off the dark, smashed tips of the butts, letting the black tar fall back into the packed ashtray as I carefully reformed the remainder of the cigarette and prepared to smoke. All the way down to the filter, you know, just hide it over until I could get my shit together enough to pour myself into the car and drive to the 7-Eleven for a Slurpee and a fresh pack of Reds. Cracking up a lung like an annoying old man in the back of the bus, I forced myself up and off the couch, creeping past the passed out bodies of the post-college partiers still sprawled comatose on the shitty brown floor from the night before. I made my way down the hall to the John and coughed again, spitting a bit of blood down into the sink to join the toothpaste plot that was already residing there. Nice, I thought. Smoking is glamorous. Date me now. I took a good long look at my weary face in that smeary bathroom mirror. Dead man, all right. That's pretty much what was staring back at me. I barely recognized my own face. My reflection was peaked and pitiful. My skin had this ghostly, ghastly gray cast to it. My coated tongue was like sucking socks against the roof of my mouth. My hair stank like some rotten wet tire. And there I stood, limply trying to see the future as it shone through the Sunday sunlight and onto the beer-sticky bachelor pad sink. And I thought to myself, you know what, asshole? This love affair is over. In between gum wads and crude penis pen graffiti on the wall over by the toilet paper holster, some inspired drunken frat boy had scribbled, "Carpe diem! Seize the day!" in red, runny marker. My eyes followed the words down until I noticed a flash of white glare of sunbeam on plastic. The gleaming corner of a brand new, unopened pack of Marlboros was peeking out at me from behind the magazine rack where I'd hidden them for moochers the night before. I seized them instead, shoving them in my pocket, jumping behind the wheel of my great white car jaws and driving like a bat out of hell towards Calvary Presbyterian just down the road. I knew I was going to need all the help I could get. Maybe proximity to church would help me win this horrible war I'd been losing for years. Quit, if only I could finally just do it. Quit smoking, just finally quit smoking. Out of the car and through the gate, I could hear the muffled voices of all those worshipers praying in unison and singing inside. My pathetic ass now sitting outside, but on the bench next to the memorial fountain, just begging God for the courage to kiss this shit habit goodbye once and for all. Jim Morrison always used to tell me at the beginning of the song Song Parade that you cannot petition the Lord with prayer! And I knew he was probably right, but I was still going to give it a try. Dear God, please help me quit smoking and I'll do whatever you want. I'll be nicer to my mom. I'll save enough money to get out of her house. I'll stop going out and partying. I'll get crushes on stupid guys that don't like me back anymore. I won't spend all my money on eBay, and I'll stop saying, God damn it, Jesus Christ, just please help me quit! Oh. I don't know if it was working, but I opened my eyes and the sunlight was dancing on the surface of the water in the round fountain. I looked around at the small wall and the grassy hill and the little patch of daffodils over there by the elm tree to the right of the fountain. I lifted my eyes towards the skies and took in the big blue and the clouds and the sounds of the people in the church with the steeple. I felt that pack of Marlboros in my pocket and I took a deep breath. Because finally I knew just what to do. I took out that pack of cigarettes like I had a million times before. I slammed the shiny box on the inside of my left wrist to pack all those tasty brown leaves back towards the filter and give me some extra solid flavor for this, my final ride on Tobacco Road. I packed them good, and then I took the cellophane off the top of that red and white pack in a roundabout swoop with a tiny cowboy that twirled a tiny lasso and rode a tiny horse. And then I began. I pulled out my first cigarette. The sight filled me with love and hate. I concentrated on the hate. Hate outside church. Nice touch. This had to be done. I whipped out my cobalt blue Zippo and torqued that son of a bitch up. I smoked with the sickening suck of a man on death row, consuming his final cigarette of all time before getting snuffed himself. I steamed it every time, not letting any air get to it, making it taste as disgusting as possible, and creating a huge fiery tip of flaming tobacco on the top of the cigarette. My eyes burned, my throat was on fire, my hands shook. I took that cigarette over to the edge of the fountain and drowned the tip just below the edge of the surface, putting it out in the water. Sound of an angry snake dying. I hate you, I said, like a total mental patient to that small wet cigarette. And then I went back for some more. I smoked this fast, furious way with no break in between. Second cigarette. Finished it, steamed it, drowned it, laid its wet gray corpse on the growing pile of butts by the bench. Third smoke. Fourth smoke. No stopping for fresh air. The mantra of, I hate you, you're trying to kill me, being muttered under my breath and in between drags with great vengeance and total mental conviction. Fifth, sixth, seventh, cigarette, turning kind of green now, feeling a little nauseous, like I might barf over there in that fountain and kill all the little minnows darting about below. Here we go, another cigarette, out of the pack, up to the lip. Fire, smoke, gag, 8, 9, 10 in a row. My throat was starting to close up. I was feeling really sick now. I hate you, I muttered like some freak with tobacco Tourette's. Every time I finished the cigarette, I would drown it and lay it on that pile. I would not let myself stop. I was gonna smoke that whole fucking pack until I keeled over, until they carried me away, until I never ever wanted to see another cigarette again as long as I lived. And I got to like the 13th cigarette, and I could not breathe anymore. And I felt like I would die. And I was pissed. I took the rest of those smokes over to the edge of the fountain and said, I hate you and drown it. I hate you and drown it like some kind of crazy anti-baptism. Never again, I swore to the pack as I shoved all the wet, soggy butts and unfinished Marlboros back into that pack. Never again, I swore to the pack as I clutched the wet thing to my toxic lungs and staggered over to the yellow daffodils. I dropped to my knees in the dirt like Moses before the burning bush. I started tearing great clods of earth out of the ground with my bare hands like a dog preparing to bury a bone. I had to make a grave for this hideous habit that had controlled me for so long, and I had to do it now. I dug a hole, and I shoved the sodden red and white pack deep within the moist earth at the base of the flower bed. And I put the dirt back slowly with black fingernailed hands and then with stomping, furious feet. I looked around. In a daze, some stones or something to mark my cigarette burial ground, so that I would never forget.
What Paula was trying to say there,
please, here we go.
Was that was very boring. It was, and it was a very lazy, uninspiring performance, a very boring song, and it looked as if you were doing a sort of, almost like a jam in a local club.